As a recruiter, a big part of the work I do is working with candidates. Okay. A big part of my job is trying to get candidates their dream role. Okay. Now, obviously, the process of working with candidates and finding candidates is always going to vary. Okay. And one thing that I've noticed whilst being on many different social media apps and being across different forums and throughout my own recruitment career is talking with candidates and seeing their almost reluctance and fear in reaching out to recruiters. And that's why I wanted to break down in this episode why you should be reaching out to recruiters and what to not be scared of moving forward, okay? Because at the end of the day, working alongside recruiters in such a competitive job market is only going to help you rather than set you back, okay? So in this episode, we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail, okay? So first things first, reach out with purpose, okay? I find a lot of the time when candidates say they're scared to reach out to recruiters, I genuinely don't understand why. At the end of the day, a recruiter is never going to charge you for a fee, okay? If you reach out to them and say, I want to work in X industry and I want this and this and this, can you help me land these roles? Do you have anything available, etc., etc.? They're not going to charge you for that. I think a lot of people, especially university graduates, when they reach out to recruiters, they think they're going to have to pay like a really hefty fee to, be able to have their CV submitted and moved forward. Okay. Not the case at all. And I find, unless you're asking for specific coaching or stuff like that, that's a different story. But the actual purpose of just reaching out to a recruiter is only going to benefit you. Okay. And the reason why, for number one, is that a lot of people don't realize this, but I think they realize it at the same time, is that recruiters' job relies on their network. Okay. As a recruiter myself, if I don't have people available for jobs, I'm pretty much useless. Okay, I can be the nicest person possible. I can help businesses as much as possible. I can speak as well as possible, sell as well as possible. It means nothing if I don't have candidates. Okay, now if I put out a job ad, if I go out and I go out of my way to connect with certain people and whatnot, that's great. But another great avenue to build your pipeline is through candidates reaching out to you. At the end of the day, so long as you're reaching out with a purpose and you genuinely can add value to this recruiter's life, 100% reach out, 1,000,000% reach out. Okay? At the end of the day, all you are doing is helping them build their pipeline. You are not a nuisance at all. You are not a waste of time at all. It's funny, I was on Reddit the other day again, and I was just kind of scrolling through the job searching section and just seeing, what people struggle with in their job hunt. And it blew my mind the amount of people who were not getting jobs, who were unemployed for the longest period of time. And I would ask them, I'd be like, have you reached out to a recruiter? And the amount of times people would say, no, I don't want to come across as annoying. I don't want to come across as a nuisance, blah, blah, blah. And I just think the core of a recruiter's job is to help a candidate land their dream work. So why not reach out if you're stuck? I think it's the golden ticket, you know. But this goes back to my initial point. You need to be reaching out with a purpose. If you're just reaching out and saying, hey, look, I kind of want to do this. What do you think I should do? Blah, blah, blah. Of course, they're going to consult and they're going to do that aspect of the job. But you need to understand if you don't get an immediate reply or you're not a top tier priority, you can't be too upset about it, okay? If you are going to reach out to a recruiter, you need to be as firm and as clear and concise as possible. State who you are, what you've done, what you want, why do you want it, okay? And when do you need it by, okay? Be very clear on the types of roles you want. If you see a specific opportunity that this agency is working on, reach out. And if it attracts you, if it appeals to you, reach out. Explain why you want it. Explain what you've done in the past can be a transferable skill set that the current job is looking for. Reach out with purpose, even if you don't actually have a job available. There's no job available, but you still know what you want. Ask and ask questions that matter. Be like to them, look, for someone in my position or for the jobs you've worked on historically that I'm interested in, what are the candidates that have done, what have the candidates that you have progressed done well? What have the ones that you have rejected done bad? What can I do to be as perfect as possible to be ready for a job opportunity for this type of role? Should you apply, should you work on an opportunity like this again? You know what I mean? Reach out and ask questions like that matter. It will go a massive way in your own development as well as the relationship building with the recruiter. Secondly, be patient with your reach outs, okay? You need to understand, guys, reaching out to recruiters, it can be no different to DMing somebody on Instagram, okay? You're gonna get replies, you're gonna get ignored. It's normal, it is what it is, okay? As I was going back to my first part as well, recruiters are very busy, okay? At the end of the day, even myself, like, and don't get me wrong, in my first company, like, I was busy, okay? But I was still definitely like the newest of the company, and I was the third most busy at the company because there was only two other colleagues. But even then, despite me being like the new guy and only having a couple of roles, I was getting tons of messages from people reaching out, asking for opportunities, asking for guidance, etc., etc. And I was only new to the industry. So I can only imagine if you're established, 5, 10 years into the industry, you've got a bit of a name, you've got a bit of a reputation, and you're working on a couple of roles, like your inbox is going to get filled very, very quickly. Okay. So just be patient. All right. Be patient and understand that, you may not get your reply straight away, and that is perfectly fine. Okay. But just make sure as well, if you're not going to get the replies that you want, firstly, be patient with it. Okay. Understand it's going to take time. Give a soft follow up after 5 to 7 days if needed. Okay. Just like, hey, just following up from a message before. If you have any guidance or any insights, please let me know. Something along those lines can help a lot. But go back to my initial point, make sure you're reaching out with purpose, okay? If you feel like you've sent out 30 messages and you are getting ignored every single day, just take a step back and review, what are you actually sending? Is it a bit of a ghost message? Is it just something that, they can't really work with? Are you being specific enough? Are you clear enough in what you want? Okay? So maybe just tweak that moving forward as well, okay? It will go a long way over time. Now, what to practically do from here, okay? Literally find agencies in the field of work that you do, find their recruiters and just connect, okay? Don't send a message straight away. You don't want to show up in their inbox of requested. You want to try to connect with them first. And then build a relationship from there, okay? Build the connection first, send the message, interact with some of their posts or whatever else, follow up again, and build the relationship from there. When they say, like, when you're on Instagram, it takes like 5 to 7 times of seeing the influencer before you actually follow them. It's kind of the same here. If you can get that first message and build a relationship from there, perfect, okay? But sometimes it takes a couple of follow-ups or a couple of messages or just a couple of things to warm up to the recruiter. Even if they don't have anything available, it takes a little bit for them to actually warm up to you. But once you've got that, you've got a great connection there, okay? Be wary as well, okay? If you don't know what you want and you're reaching out for advice and stuff like that, recruiters are very, very busy, okay? And the idea of them taking maybe half an hour out of their day to speak to somebody that they don't even know what they want, and it's not really going to directly help them for the moment, it could be seen to them as a bit of a waste of time, okay? So that's why you need to be as clear as possible in what you want, okay? So get the connections, have the messages, do your follow-ups. If you're going to reach out directly to anybody, it's going to be through the website, okay? Find their agency website, submit your inquiry, call them if you need to. I prefer a call. I'll be very honest. I really do prefer a call. If you've got the capacity, do a call because it's a lot easier to build a relationship via phone and via words rather than via text, okay? Hope you guys got some value from this video. If you are interested in working with me on a one-to-one level, click that link below for a free consultation. Happy to organize a quick 30-minute chat or a little bit more, a little bit less, and then we can see what works from there. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Take care. I'll see you guys next time.